If you don't know this giveaway, here it is here. It's pinned to my profile, and it's open to everyone and anyone. I nearly said everyone and everyone. Anyone and everyone can join this giveaway. You do not need to be a subscriber to the Twitch channel. You don't need to be a subscriber to my YouTube or anything like that. All you need to be doing is following me over on Twitter, and then just make sure that you're following me here on Twitch as well. Once you've done those two things, then all you need to do is just retweet and like that post, that tweet. And then tomorrow when we go live at 12 PM UK time, I'm going to be kicking off tomorrow's stream by announcing the winner of this Jordan Bayer limited card. This card's worth about £20 in Sorare. And if you are new to Sorare, all the cards in Sorare have real world value. So this card you can actually sell for real world cash. And it's worth about £20. It was actually worth about £15 when I got the giveaway going, but he done so well against Man City that there's been a spike in demand for his card, and that's pushed up his price, which is great. So the card's gone up in value, so whoever wins him now is going to have a really decent card, and you can, as I say, you can keep it, you can build a team around him. He's a fantastic scorer in Sorare anyway. You could also sell him. You could sell him for the £20, then you could cash the £20 out. Or you could use the £20 to then go out and buy whatever player that you actually want rather than a Jordan Bayer. And again, if you're new to Sorare, if you don't have an account, you do need an account, so I can actually send you this card, and you can sign up again using the same link that I just mentioned that you could find in the chat. The same link is there in the pinned tweet. So if you use that link, you'll also get a free card if you sign up to Sorare, and then of course you've got an account. So if you do win this giveaway, I can then send you the Jordan Bayer limited card. Make sure that you join it, guys. It's a great card to win, and I will be doing the draw tomorrow at 12, so if you haven't joined it by then, you're going to miss the boat. Okay, Sandoval's injured. Yeah. Wow. Kevin Sandoval is £2.62. He's been injured for a while now, Kevin Sandoval. I'm going to be waiting until his price comes further down, because I had Kevin Sandoval before and I really like him because his scoring is great, his decisive scoring is brilliant, his AA is very good. He's not really had the best season, but once he gets less than £2, I'll probably look to pick him up again. There's a few players for Coiba that I do kind of like. One of them is Alan Emperor. I kind of like this guy because he's quite consistent, and he gives you some high end as well. He's just coming off the back of like an 81. He's quite a nice cheap defender to pick up. He's about £2.25, and he's got, you know, good mid-range, not huge amount of high end, but I quite like him. Also, Walter isn't really a keeper that you should be targeting, in my opinion, but he is also a keeper that scores quite well, and he scores high. He scores really high. Doesn't tend to score high all the time, but that's kind of what you want from a goalkeeper. He doesn't bomb very often. He gives you kind of like mid-range and above. And to be honest with you, I don't really feel like he's playing for that good a team either. So it's kind of quite impressive that he's got this level of scoring to him. He's only £22 as well. He is 35, but he's the clear starting goalkeeper for Coiba. And there's not many limited cards of him as well. There's only 231, which kind of makes him a nice goalkeeper to invest in, even at the age of 35, because it means that his price can kind of sustain. It doesn't drop so quickly because there's not loads of cards being minted of him, or there's not loads of cards in the game of him. Varos have a good home game here. Ramirez is actually not bad. He's pretty good actually. Christian Ramirez. It's only £2 as well. Wow. Christian Ramirez would be an interesting one to look at here defensively, because against his opponent you wouldn't expect them to really concede. They've got also Ibrahim Cisse in here, who I do like. He's only 80p. Look, he's very consistent, Ibrahim Cisse. His AA is usually kind of 15 and above. His AA is actually 17.2 for the past year. But ATP, honestly, that's really not bad, is it? It's really good. You're going to struggle to find a defender in the midweek that is going to start that also can give you such a nice mid-range score. Quite a nice, good one to pick for Threshold. You're not getting full coverage from him, of course, but against his opponent, they should do okay, no? Bring them up. I mean, it's Malta at the end of the day. That they lost 6-1 from the first leg. So it should really be a walk in the park. Where does this one place as well? Ferencváros, they're not high. Probably because the odds aren't being pulled in. There they are, look, there's no odds being pulled in. But I'm pretty sure if you looked at that game, there'd be, like with the odds, that game would be high up here. For ATP, you really can't complain. You guys that are playing the midweek, be very careful. We talked about this yesterday. Be very careful if you're playing the midweek with Asia teams, especially the K-League teams, because the K-League games that are happening, there's only 2 that are happening. It's these ones here. Suwon Blue Wings versus Jeju and Incheon United versus Gwangju. And both of those games are happening at 11:30 this Friday. Which means that by the time they finish, there's only going to be about 2 hours until the game week actually finishes. And so based with the K-League scoring problems in Sorare, that like those 2 games are not going to be fully scored. Yeah, they won't get the AAs. So if you have like K-League players, right, that you have in your midweek lineups, then you can still play them. Just keep in mind that like what I would tend to do in that situation is like I would play probably my goalkeepers and my forwards, because the goalkeepers and the forwards are less AA dependent, but then like the defenders and the midfielders can be more AA dependent. So like a forward, most forwards don't score that great in the AA, so you can kind of get away with like playing a K-League player from a K-League forward from Suwon Blue Wings or Jeju or Incheon United or Gwangju in your midweek, because then if they score, they're still going to get 60 points, and they would get 60 points anyway, even with a full score, because most of the time their AA is not that great. And it's kind of the same with the goalkeeper, right? If they keep a clean sheet, they automatically jump to 60 points. And that's what most of their scoring is coming from. But I would just not be playing any defenders or midfielders from those teams. Mention that, Ellis, because on Pooky, my chances to win anything, let's just come off this for now. My chances to win anything from the Premier League this weekend come down to the Man United game tonight. Because this is the only game left to play. We've gone 3-0. If it's not exactly 3-0, I don't think we can finish in the top 50% and then win some money. I think we're going to miss out. So it really needs to be 3-0. And my weekend in Sorare has been pretty underwhelming. Not won anything. Yeah, big prediction, isn't it? I'm sort of almost tempted. Look, I'm almost tempted here because we're so far behind. I'm almost tempted to go for 4 and just brave it for 4, because then we would get like a massive amount of points. I hope Eddie Howe stays for many years. He's done well. He has, actually. I'm really surprised that Eddie Howe was still there, because I was tipping him to be like an interim almost manager, where they would have him in initially and then they would want to try and get like a higher caliber or like a higher reputation manager, because they would then be getting like bigger names to the club. But fair play, they've kept with him, and it's the right call because he's doing great for them. I have Triple United, a little bias there. You know what? The funny thing is, right, looking at this on Pooky, I kind of feel like we need to risk it now. What do you guys think? I think we need to risk it. Like, we are 491st with out of 793. We need to finish basically less than 400th place. So we need to jump 91 places here as a minimum. I think we're going to risk this one here, because if we do 3-0 and it is 3-0, it might not be enough for us to still get in the top 50%. But if we do 4-0, that's probably a result that many people aren't really doing. They're probably doing like 3-0 or 2-1 or something. 4-0 is definitely punching a bit higher. But if it ends up being 4-0, then we should comfortably then finish in the top 50%. And that 4-0 will give us... We've got 541 points here. That 4-0... what would that give us there? That 4-0 would give us 413 points, which would take us close to 1,000. I think we're going to do it. We're going to update this one. We don't need to change the ball, because this ball here is going to give us the most amount of points, right? Yeah, it is. So we're just simply going to update this to 4-0. We're going to go hard here. All in. Kind of at the point where there's no point playing it safe here for the last game. Yeah, I don't think it will be 4-0, but at this point, like, we've got nothing to lose now. Like, if we do 3-0, we'd only get something like 200 points, right? And I don't think it's going to be enough for us to get in the top 50%. So we're just going to go all in on it. We're going to go for 4-0. They don't tend to concede 4 goals, actually, Wolves, but we're just going to hope that Man United can turn it up. We talked about him recently this week, because Jordan Pickford, for me, he seems to be quite undervalued when you think about like what you get from him, because he is like the clear established starter. Like, he's not going to be dropped. Like, they don't have anybody to come in and replace Jordan Pickford if Pickford's having like a bad run of games. Like, if Pickford is delivering like mistake after mistake after mistake for like 3 or 4 games, they won't mix it up. They don't have a good enough goalkeeper really to come in and replace Jordan Pickford. He will play every single game. The other good thing about him is that he's actually the number 1 for England. So you have a starting, guaranteed, nailed-on starter for Everton that's going to play every single game, and he has actually got the highest amount of minutes played from last season, because he played every single game in the Premier League. He's also going to give you that international scoring utility, which is great. So when the Euro qualifying games come around again next month, you're going to be able to use Jordan Pickford in those games because he's the number 1 for England. He's also only 29, and even though they haven't got off to a good start, Everton, because they lost 1-0 against Fulham, I actually think like he's a good goal. He's not a good goal scorer. He's a good scorer in Sorare. Like, he can give you quite a bit of scores of 60 points or more. His AA's 8 as well. He's not bad with penalties. I think he's a really good option because he gives you that big DMP peace of mind as well. So for kind of your budget, I think Jordan Pickford has to be considered. I think there are loads of other like way better goalkeepers, right, than Jordan Pickford. And to be honest, I don't even really feel like Jordan Pickford should be the number 1 for England. I do feel like maybe someone like Ramsdale should be given a bit more of a go, or Nick Pope should be given a bit more of a look in as well. He's playing for a better team. He kept loads of clean sheets last season for Newcastle. But Jordan Pickford is the favourite of Gareth Southgate, and so he's still the number 1. He trusts him, he's used him in loads of tournaments. So at the moment today, he's less than £50, although I think his price has gone up a bit now, probably since we spoke about him. It's kind of come down a little bit. Maybe we spoke about him here. Yeah, we did. We spoke about him here because I remember when we looked at him, his price was less than £40, so his price has gone up a little bit. But Jordan Pickford, I think, needs to be considered because of the whole utility you get from his card for the price. Not Trapp, yeah, I don't like... So the problem with Trapp is that historically, Frankfurt just don't keep enough clean sheets. They don't, they always concede. If you look at Frankfurt, yeah, Pacheco's good, but Pacheco's not playing Champion. He's not playing Champion Europe. Let's bring up Kevin Trapp here. Kevin Trapp's not a goalkeeper that you should target in Sorare, in my opinion. And you can see why. He has an L15 of 42, right? But then he has an L5 of 43 and an L40 of 44. Now, why is his averages so low? Like across all of those time periods? Well, the reason being is like he can't keep a clean sheet. And it's not necessarily his fault. It's actually just the team, the defense in front of him. Because he is actually quite a good goalkeeper, Kevin Trapp. But if you think about what you need from your goalkeepers in Sorare, most of their scoring comes from clean sheets. So you need to be targeting teams that can keep clean sheets. Now, Frankfurt can't keep clean sheets. They haven't been able to do it at all for the last few seasons. Like if you look at the amount of games that he's played 120, right? Keep this in mind. 120 games, right? Let's filter it by Frankfurt. 119 games for Frankfurt. He's kept 19 clean sheets. He's kept clean sheets in only 10% of, well, less than 10% of his games. It's not good enough. It's so bad. Like, what you need to be aiming for with your goalkeepers is, like, you need to be aiming for a goalkeeper that keeps clean sheets in roughly 30% of their games and above, right? 19 clean sheets in 119 games. It's shocking. It's terrible. It's too low. It's far too low. Which is why I always say he's not worth picking up in Sorare. And if you look at his price here, he's £37. He's £37. So just keep this in mind, right? He's £37. Let's go back here. He's £37, right? Let's go back. Just so you guys can understand this, because I often get asked this question a lot about why not going for Trapp. Trapp is just not a good scorer in the game because they don't keep enough clean sheets, and Trapp doesn't do enough in his AA to kind of boost him up into the 60s alone. Like, so you can see here he got a clean sheet, right? Sometimes what you'll find is that goalkeepers, if they don't get a clean sheet, they can still get you scores of 60 points or more just from their AA. But his AA is not strong enough to get him into scores of 60 points or more without the clean sheet. Look, all these scores of 60 points or more are because he kept a clean sheet. Look, another clean sheet, a big score. Clean sheets, big score. He can't get you scores of 60 points or more without when he doesn't keep a clean sheet. And what's crazy here is that he's £37. Jordan Pickford, who has way better scores in the game, and is actually way younger and is the number one for England that gives you that scoring utility outside of club games. He's only an average of £43. He's only £48.50, which is why Jordan Pickford for me is so undervalued right now in comparison to someone like Kevin Trapp. Right, thank you so much, guys, and I will catch you again tomorrow.